In 2018, we embarked on the journey of a lifetime, living and traveling full-time in our self-converted van. We're gonna go for it. Join us as we continue to explore the beauty around us, one adventure at a time. We last left you in Boston at Ed and Maria's house. Since then, we have put the cameras away and headed straight for the Canadian border, where we met a border agent who was not a fan of YouTube. Background checks were done, the van was searched, but thankfully she gave us the all clear, and this week's video begins in Canada. We're in Canada!
Yeah, we're on our way.
Icebergs, here we come.
Icebergs and lots of snow, maybe.
Maybe a polar bear.
That would be the best.
Good morning. We're going to call this officially day one of our Trans-Labrador Highway journey to Newfoundland.
Yep.
So yesterday we took the ferry from, I think it's Montaigne, Quebec to Baie-Comeau. Yep. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing those correct.
Don't ask me. Everything is in French here, so it's tough.
It was 38 miles across the St. Lawrence Seaway.
And that's going to save river. Yeah, that's going to save us over 400 miles of driving. So even though it was $96 to cross that ferry, we're saving money in fuel. Yes. And it was the fanciest ferry and biggest ferry we have ever been on. It was like a mini cruise ship. It looked like a mini cruise ship.
How big was it?
430 feet long, roughly.
Yeah. So we arrived late last night. Well, not late, 5 o'clock-ish. Yeah. We absolutely do not like driving at night.
Yeah, especially in deer or moose country. It's just asking for trouble. So not even a mile away from the ferry, we found a pullover parking lot that allows you to stay 2 consecutive nights.
Yeah, there's a dump station, there's potable water when it's not winter, and it's a beautiful area. Rudel and I took our walk there this morning, and we'll show you some pictures.
So now it's time to fuel up and start this section of the highway. Fuel is going to be sparse, so we're going to fuel up our extra gas cans, and we're going to need to have that extra gas in case the roads get snowy, or just in case we want to run the heater at night and not worry about how much fuel we're using.
Now the entire distance from where we are to Blanc-Sablon, that's where we're going to take the next ferry across to Newfoundland, is, if we were to drive it straight through, it would take us 22 hours and 12 minutes. That's according to Google. And you know it always takes longer than that. Yeah. It is 1,060 miles from here to our next ferry.
Wow.
We have no plans along the way. We're going to try to drive a few hours every day, find a spot, which is probably going to be challenging.
Yeah, because there is a little bit of snow cover, so we're not sure if we're going to be able to make it into some of the free camping spots that we want to.
Okay, let's go get our gas and start this journey.
Let's get it rocking.
All right.
Well, that was 88 liters at $1.69 a liter.
For a grand total of $150.
$150, and that's the main reason why, that's one of the reasons why we did the 2 sugar beet harvest last season, so we could do this trip. We knew it was going to be expensive. Even at that, that is the most we've ever paid to fuel the tank up. But we did fuel a couple of extra tanks, so I mean that helps the price be high.
Are you cold?
I'm freezing. Let's go north where it's cooler.
Our journey does not start on the Trans-Labrador Highway. We first need to travel 400 miles on Quebec Route 389 to Labrador City. If our research is correct, these 400 miles will be the worst part of our trip. Manitou Dam is one of the world's largest hollow joint gravity dams. I can't tell you what that means, but if you visit in June, July, or August with 9 of your friends, you can sign up for a free tour. And while you're here, travel the 115 more miles to the Manic 5 Dam, an engineering marvel, as the world's largest dam featuring vaults and buttresses. Again, I'm not sure what that means, but it sure is impressive to look at. Well, that concludes day one of our traveling the Trans-Labrador Highway. We are still in Quebec. We drove 6 hours today, 200 miles, 65 of those miles were on gravel. And we found this little pull-off here. It's not the most glamorous boondocking spot, but it's where we're gonna call home for the night. And of course, Rudel wants to play ball. And since there's not much traffic on this road, that's what we're doing to make him happy tonight.
The Labradoodle, he's got a traveling van and a master plan. He'll show you it all if you throw him his ball. He's Rudel. He's Rudel.
We wanted to share with you some of the research and planning that we had to do to make this route happen. And our major concern of all the different things that could happen is fuel. The fuel stations are very far and few in between, and a couple of the stretches are going to be at our capacity. So we decided to buy a couple extra fuel cans. We've got total of 5 gallons there on top of the roof. And that will allow us to run the heater because our heater is connected directly to our fuel tank on these cold nights. And also give us a little extra padding if the weather gets bad, because you always use more fuel when driving in snow or mud. This is the first gas station that we found in 200 miles, so we're definitely taking advantage of that. It is $1.85 a liter, but you can't be picky at this point because there's not another fuel station for 251 kilometers, so we're fueling up. I thought it was $1.85 a liter, but it is $2.45 a liter.
How much did we get?
We got 46 liters for $114. We only needed half a tank. I'm not even gonna give it the full half a tank because we'll make it to the next gas station.
We were surprised to see our nice smooth pavement suddenly end. Mining is a huge business in Quebec. Iron ore, copper, graphite, zinc, cobalt, nickel, titanium, lithium, and gold, just to name a few. We crisscrossed these train tracks a dozen times within the next 40 miles. We made it to Labrador. It was a long 400 miles. Dave's gonna put a sticker on.
Yay! That's cool. This is a mining town, so I do recommend you go up to the Labrador City Mining and Processing Operations area right in front of the gate before it's the area where it's closed, and check out this big truck because it's awesome. And you can't go to a mining town without at least seeing a little bit of it.
That's crazy.
Definitely the biggest tire I have ever seen on anything. It's taller than our whole van. You don't even have to duck to walk underneath it. Now that's clearance. Wow. There's the dump. Pretty cool.
How big is the machine that loads this?
I don't know. Giant. Good morning from Labrador City, Labrador. This is the visitor center in town, and it is right by the road here. But they allow you to stay overnight, and there's a dump station, water, trash can, and free Wi-Fi. So that made it a pretty easy decision for us that we were gonna stay. And you can tell that we got a little dusting of snow overnight. And that reminds me of a couple different things that are helping us along this road. And I wanna show you some apps that we have been using. And one of them has to do with snow.
How did we decide that we wanted to take this route this early in the season? This is mid-April, and this is a light snow year for them. We did lots and lots of research. And normally the snow does not start to melt until May. So we have a couple of apps that we've been using that kind of helped us decide that this was okay for us to do right now. And I'll start with Day. What app have you been using?
All right, my favorite app so far has been, and it's called Ventusky. And this is a weather app, and it does cost $5.99 per year, which I think is completely worth it. But one of the features that this app has is it shows snow cover. So we can tell in advance about how much snow is on the ground. And that is big information, big help, because we'll know if we can pull off the side of the road or if we're going to get stuck basically and have no places to pull off on the side of the road because the snow's too deep. Anything over about 4 or 5 inches, and we know that we're not going to be able to go adventure off the road and find a remote camp spot.
And now the app isn't perfect, but it gives you a great general idea of how much snow is in the area. So coming across yesterday, across 389, we thought there might have been 12 or 13 inches of snow. So I think Labrador so far has had the most snow.
Yep.
Now the app that I've been using is called Newfoundland 511. I do believe that the Canadian government does this for every province. And what's really nice about it is it shows the road conditions all the way across Labrador and Newfoundland, but I'm looking at Labrador until we get there. It'll show me color-coded what the road conditions are. You know, pink is it's partially covered, black it's clear, pavement, and there are live cameras across the route. So before we even started, we clicked on the live cameras, we looked at the snow situation. We knew it was going to be snowy all the way across. So we knew that this is not going to be a big boondocking journey.
Yep.
But this is getting us to our main grand finale, which is Newfoundland.
And iceberg season.
And iceberg season. That is another reason why we came so early. But I did want to make sure that you know that normally people don't come this early in the season. And if you do come prepared. It was 19 degrees Fahrenheit last night here.
Dang, I didn't really realize it was cold.
And it snowed. So this is not something that you want to take lightly. This is a major off the beaten path route, which we love.
Yeah.
But if you're not super familiar or super comfortable with that, you might think twice about it.
Yeah, you have to prepare.
Is there 2 lanes there?
I guess,
There's Shell and there's SL.
All right, not used to the gas pumps because they're pump first and then pay later. So it took me a little while to figure out what was going on. But a really kind lady behind us helped me out. I felt like a newbie.
We quickly realized that with the amount of snow still on the ground, it is going to be impossible for us to leave the highway. So we give up on our golden rule of only driving a few hours a day, and we decide to put some long driving hours in. We will stop once for gas, lunch, and of course, brutal breaks. Our destination today is Happy Valley Goose Bay at 328 miles.
Good morning. So this is where we stayed the night. It's a little roadside pull off, and we found quite a few of these along the way, about every 15 miles or so. So that makes it pretty easy. And right now it is 25 degrees and there is some wind blowing. So a little bit of wind chill, making it feel really cold out here. But we are outside of the town of Happy Valley, Goose Bay. And this is not where we intended to stay the night, so we have a little bit of story to tell you for that, but I think we'll do that inside the van where it's nice and toasty.
Yesterday was a very long drive day, and we were looking forward to getting to Goose Valley. There was a Chamber of Commerce office that you could stay there, free Wi-Fi, you could hook up if you wanted, and so that was our destination. We drove into town, and the first red flag was the street that we were going to be parking on. There was either highly intoxicated or someone was high on drugs.
Yeah, one of the two for sure.
Yeah, and we can usually spot those pretty easy because we lived in a town with a lot of that. So that was red flag number 1.
Red flag number 2 is I'm walking Rudel down the street, and a couple guys called me over. They wanted me to go over to see them, and they were a little bit out of sight from the road, like it was a really weird spot, so I didn't go. It felt awkward. And then as I'm walking away, they were yelling, "We just wanted to smoke. We just wanted a cigarette." So
yeah, you guys know. I know everybody knows. Don't leave the road to go behind a building or behind a car to talk to somebody.
So of course I didn't do that. I just quickly moved away and kept going. But that was red flag number 2.
So then we still didn't leave yet. But we're in the van. Dave's on guard. Rudel's on guard. He's looking out the window and growling, and we don't see anything. So by this time, Carrie's on guard. About 8 o'clock at night, there's lots of yelling, and we're like, you know what? That's 3 red flags.
Yeah, so we fueled up because that's the last fuel station for 260 miles or so. And just...
But when we got to the fuel station, there were bars on the door.
Yeah.
So that was our clincher. Like, yeah, we are not staying here.
Maybe not the nicest neighborhood.
We hate driving at night. And even after all that, we would rather drive an hour out of the way, out of the city. And we found this nice little pull-off, super quiet. When we woke up this morning, we had the most fabulous surprise.
Yeah.
So the most beautiful fox graced us with his presence this morning. That is until Rudel saw him, and then he decided he should probably keep carrying on. Yeah. Where'd the fox go, Rudel?
He's like, he was just out here, Mom.
I'm gonna find it. Where'd it go, buddy?
He's like, how am I supposed to chase it if you guys don't let me out?
So today is a long day. We're gonna shoot for Port Hope Simpson. And I think that's the name of it.
Yeah, with the idea of taking a lot of stops along the way, so it just doesn't feel like a long, dragged out drive day.
Yeah. How long have we been driving? 4 or 5 days in a row?
Yeah, we're getting ready.
We're ready for a break.
We need a spot where we can stay a whole week and just kind of relax and absorb it all in.
Or at least a couple of days.
But I still think we're a few days out from that, unfortunately.
We're close. We're close to Blanc-Sablon, where we're going to catch the ferry to Newfoundland. And we've already got places scouted out, and it looks awesome.
It does. I can't wait.
So we might just drive through.
I will probably end up doing that.
This leg of our journey will be the longest stretch between gas stations at 251 miles. We made it with 6 gallons left in our tank and never touching our gas reserves. And of course, with just 132 miles left to go, we press on. We expected the snow to lessen as we approached the coastline, but it did not. In fact, I think there was more snow. We welcomed the change of scenery, but we were not prepared for the sheer beauty of our final miles. What do you think? Is it going to be a few days?
It sure looks like it's going to be at least a couple days. I mean, they can't get in here at all.
Easterly winds are causing ice pressure near Blanc-Sablon, impacting service over the next few days.
Good morning. Today we are at Point Amour Lighthouse. This feels like we're traveling the Northwest Passage, something that I always wanted to do.
It's so windy.
The wind is blowing almost 30 knots right now, and we're following the Coast Guard cutter. First time I've ever seen a caribou, I'm pretty sure anyway, especially in the wild. We've been here all of 15 minutes and we're already seeing icebergs. If you would like to support our channel, please consider becoming a patron. Thank you for watching.